Remember, it's 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock. You know where your children are. I'll say this. It's Monday morning, 6:45. What have you learned today? It's interesting. I was listening to a podcast about a guy that has an industry that builds manufactured homes, many employees. The guy's a billionaire. And they walk around his company asking people why, just random. This is not like planned podcast stuff, not staged. How long have you been here? Well, 16 years. How long have you been here? 22 years. How long have you been here? 25 years. That kind of thing. Why are you here 20 years? And they asked they asked two questions to the people. How long have you been here? And why have you been here this long? They never say because the pay is great. Pay is good. He does pay his people well. Part of the podcast didn't prove that. But they're like, I like the people here. I like the environment. It's not stressful. People work with you. And that's from the people on the bottom line. Fantastic podcast. And then he talked about, like they said, they asked him, like, how do you run such a great company? Because everyone loves working here. And it reminded me when I was in the corporate world, I remember the CEO actually in a Christmas gift, and that Christmas gift was this scarf from, I don't know, 25 or 30 years ago. It's getting a little ragged, but I still wear it in the wintertime. It's funny. It's funny that I'm talking about this guy and I'm wearing the scarf that he got me for Christmas. The CEO would buy his management gloves or scarves or hats or, that kind of stuff. And I remember in a Christmas card, he said, "Thank you for making our company a great place to work." He recognized that my operations skills were second to none, and that everything that I did that was positive for the company made its way up to him, which ended up being in that note, "Thank you for making our company a great place to work." And it was nice to be recognized for that, because when I work in running an organization, I make sure I don't run it like a dictator. I run it like I cooperate with people and I inspire them and I listen to them, and and we have certain metrics that I keep my eye on quarterly, 4 times a year. I meet with every single employee. Now it was small enough of a company where I could do that, but it was growing to the point where in a couple years they were growing so fast that there's no way I would be able to meet with everybody. So I had to teach the people under me how to do that with the people that work for them. Long story short, one of the things he said was that in order to have a good company, you got to realize that, he said, shit rolls uphill. In other words, things that can't be solved make their way to the CEO. And CEOs don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be bothered by like operational problems or customer service problems or QC problems. They just don't want to be bothered with that. And he was talking about how he trained everyone to be able to take authority, and they were authorized to solve problems at their level where they were in the company. And he said, I trained and authorized my people, my employees, to handle the problems. Therefore, my phone doesn't ring. He doesn't forbid people from contacting him about problems and possible solutions. He authorizes them to deal with it. Very fascinating. And he said, if you're working 70 hours a week, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. He says, in 30 years of owning my business, he says, I've never worked a weekend, ever. He says, because if your family's falling apart, what good is your success? What good is your business if what you're doing if you're not managing your family, if your family falls apart? It kind of made me miss being an executive and being involved in operations. I mean, when I look at the place where I work part-time, I know I could do 1,000 times better job if I was CEO. I know that. But here I am in my retirement years, and I'm thinking, do I really want to go down that road? Honestly, that's what I think. Do I really want to do that? Although I know I have the solutions for the place. One of the things that stands out in what he said was that people love working in his company so much that there's no turnover. And that reminds me of John Paul Deoria from Paul Mitchell Systems, who also owned Patron Tequila. Actually, one of my business role models, like one of the best ever. One of the things this fella said was, if you have so much turnover, people last, like the average length of employment in most companies is 24 months, believe it or not. He said, if you have turnover every 24 months, then you have a new company every 24 months, and you have to constantly reinvent all the time, and that's wasting energy, that's wasting resources. It's better to have people stay for a long time and be productive versus, they run into a problem and they say, I'm out of here. Or they run into a problem or multiple problems over a period of time, and then they end up misbehaving and getting fired or getting let go, that kind of thing. And productivity just goes down. He says, if you are turning people over every 24 months, you're doing something wrong. And you have a new company. You don't even recognize your own company because you have to hire new people all the time. I do kind of miss the days of having operations, like running operations as an executive. I kind of miss that. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe work as an acting executive, an acting administrator. I don't know. Like doing hardcore, what I call like shirt and tie work for like the next 5 years. Maybe I could do that. I'm not sure. I'm kind of enjoying the solopreneur thing right now. But man, after listening to that podcast, first thing that comes to my mind is I could clean up an institution in a couple years, just like that.